So it's carnival time. Are you guys excited? Do you guys get excited about carnival anymore?
I think we constantly excited right through. Right through. Yeah.
Is New York like a special carnival place for you guys, or has it changed? Like, talk to me about that whole vibe when it comes to carnival, and because some have to be more exciting than others. No?
I think it's a different dimension of excitement. You know, so like New York, because of the size and the capacity and the legacy behind it, it's a different drive and a different energy. Because I don't know if a lot of people know, a lot of the artists kind of hone their skills in New York. Because years ago, you had to come to New York right after Carnival and stay and base and live and exist and operate out of New York, and then you went to everywhere else. So New York became like home, more or less. So almost all the major artists stayed in New York, based in New York. They brought their bands in New York. Sometimes we stayed in, long time we stayed in some some questionable apartment.
For real.
Oh my gosh.
So it's the journey to make your name and build your brand, correct?
You had to come here.
And you know, the crazy thing is that I don't think that, you know, the wider Caribbean understands that you as soca artists also had to go through that hard and rough time as well, right? I didn't know that there was a building process like that where you guys migrated pretty much from Trinidad, stayed here in the States,
and the entire year.
For the whole year. And what was that process like?
It was unusual. It was something that you had to be prepared for, end up being prepared for by force while in it, because you was never prepared for it from go, because you didn't know that's what you had to do. Because remember the way the culture set up in Trinidad and Tobago, because of different facets. It's a multicultural society, but it's a heavily religious society too. So the arts and culture sector is affected by that, right? It's mandated by, at this time of the year, this music can't play, or this culture can't exist. So being an artist from Trinidad and your prime, you're doing all this work for Carnival, and then all of a sudden you have to wait till Carnival the next year in Trinidad to be able to exist, for want of a better word again, right? And all that's because of all the religious impact, the societal impact, the government, all different factors. So what ended up happening is, as soon as Carnival done, you get your first show in New York, and basically it's like just throwing a baby in the ocean to learn to swim. As you reach New York, you better link with somebody and find somewhere to stay, because if you go back to Trinidad, that's the end of your tour season. Because no promoter ain't flying you back from Trinidad.
Sometimes they're not flying you out.
They ain't flying you out. Right? More times you have to get yourself where you're going and things. So they're based on New York to move for the whole year until Miami Carnival in October.
So let me ask you something then. When you say the religious, because of the religious thing in Trinidad, that's an interesting dynamic. So is it that there's just a time for religion in Trinidad?
No, what he's saying is Ash Wednesday is dictated by the Catholic calendar.
Right.
So the carnival period is kind of like, it falls before the Ash Wednesday. So the Ash Wednesday ends the carnival period. So whatever the Ash Wednesday lands, that's before
Carnival
that
is
the
done.
Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
That's it.
And that's it. So after that, no more.
None.
That's how it was long
That's how
time.
it was.
So long time, Ash Wednesday, no more soca.
No more soca.
Until
the
end of the year, probably like November, December, you start to pick back up, and then you'll get it.
Yeah, and soca is still because at the time too was more prominent. Calypso.
Yes.
So none of the arts or the culture.
No creative nothing. No local culture.
Is allowed to exist until the next year when season come again.
So in order for you guys to keep things going, you leave the country.
That's right. Yeah.
You come to America now, New York, right? And then you stay and keep things going here.
Right.
That's correct. And then you would go to Miami Carnival, which would kind of be the wrapping of your tour season. And the plane ticket you get from Miami Carnival, that's how you went back home.
That's how you went back home.
So what did you do between the time of New York and Miami Carnival?
Long Island Carnival was
existing. It had a New Jersey Carnival.
New Jersey Carnival.
Boston,
Baltimore, Philadelphia.
You would do some of the shows like the Ark, Casey's Hideaway.
Yeah, the Brooklyn shows.
Yeah, you do some circuits.
And then from here you would drive across on the bus.
To Canada.
For Caribana. Segue to Montreal. Come back.
And if you were lucky, you would get some Caribbean tours in between. So that's how you would fly out of the US. If you got like a Antigua or a St. Lucia or something, then you would leave, but then you would have to come right back to
This
the
is
US.
when the scene was small.
this is when this is
No,
this is-
Yeah,
Well,
the scene was small and quiet,
I don't
no?
even want to say small because
No.
it was.
Oh, not like that. Yeah, it was loud.
Nah, it was loud. It
was
was
still
very
loud.
loud. I talking about this is as recent as less than 20 years ago. I talking
Scene.
about, right?
So this small would be the business part.
Yeah.
So in dancehall, I think dancehall and the other genres, they got the economic and the business part
Yeah.
of the industry more or less situated and sorted before the soca got it.
Yeah.
So for instance, like years ago, it was unheard of to have a contract. It was unheard of to have a rider.
In Soca.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It's get where you get.
It was unheard of to have a dressing room. And we've had promoters pick us up, and there was a car seat for a child in the back seat, and they were moving.
I just have a
clothes and-
squeeze in.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I had one promoter send a literal yellow cab to pick you up
Yeah.
at the hotel
This
to
was-
take you to the
Yeah,
venue.
this was in the 2000s. I came on the scene in 99. So my first travel to New York was in 99. So we're talking about, this is as early as in the 2000s.
In the
Coming down.
2000s. The business
It
part
didn't have-
wasn't
it didn't have
solid.
podium and thing, promoting and putting in hotel
forget
and thing.
that.
You have to be real exceptional for promoting.
So wait a minute. Before we go any further, I gotta. Yeah, I have to understand this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I want people to understand the
Yeah.
soca journey as well, and,
Yes.
and the sacrifice that was made,
Yeah.
right? So the artists in the as early as 2000s,
Yeah.
right? No contracts, no per diem,
Nah.
no hotel,
Nah.
none of them
Right.
thing there.
Really.
No
Right.
flights.
Even the biggest band at the time, I don't want to call the name because I don't want to single out
Yes.
nobody, but even the biggest band at the time had to rent an apartment somewhere downtown Brooklyn so they have their own base. No promoter wasn't even putting them up in a hotel to stay. You will get hotel when you go to Caribana, and that's
Because,
if you
yeah.
get hotel, because more time they would take the
The school,
the
so they put you in
university,
this university
when the
campus.
students leave for holiday.
Yeah.
Right?
And you get dorm rooms.
And
You
get
get
dorm
the
rooms.
dorms, that's
Yeah.
it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You got the dorms and the hot plates in the
And I'm
car.
talking about this is 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that was the standard for everyone.
That was the standard for more or less everyone.
Yeah,
So you then would have to go into your pocket then and get to America, correct? Or
That's correct.
many
Yeah.
times, many times.
That is very correct. And you had to
Many
find
times.
your rent when the month come, and you had to find money for your food when the month come. Especially if you had a band out here,
Yeah, man.
you had to feed yourself and your band, house yourself and your band, and the nice thing is we made a lot of friends with a lot of Jamaican dollar van drivers. So
Yeah.
they kind of got the routine. So they had dollar van drivers who would link you on when you were coming in. They understood the scenario. So they would pick you up in the airport. If you have an event to go to, they drop you to the event
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So they kind of worked with you.
So the promoters wasn't even getting you to the events.
Yeah, man.
This was
There's
just
very few of them.
This was just come and do your thing and
yeah,
leave.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
correct.
yeah. Because listen, we are talking about. You used to be a show promoted in Floyd Bennett Field, full, and the artist pulling up with brethren they know from back home. That's how they
correct.
reach into the venue.
It's family members and friends.
You
that
had
took
no
us to the
sanctioned
events.
transport to take you like that.
So were you guys able to get big money or was it small money at the time
Well-
as well?
well,
If you get paid, you're lucky.
Yeah. Many
And I'm
times.
being very
Yeah,
honest.
many times.
No, listen, I am speaking from me.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't want people to listen and think,
Yeah,
well, that
I
was
speak-
across the board
I
for all the
speaking for me
artists.
too.
I'm speaking from me. I've worked for promoters already that literally took me 5 years to pay, and the only reason I got my money because that year I won a bunch of titles and they wanted me to come and do an event, and I was like, okay, cool. So 5 years ago I did some shows for you. I didn't get paid. So if you square that bill up, then we could talk any new talk. But until that old discussion's been closed, we can't. And that's how I got my money.
So if you didn't win the titles,
Oh,
and
hell,
you wouldn't have
nothing.
gotten any money.
Salt.
This is crazy. No,
Yeah.
the events that you guys were going to, were they a lot of people?
Oh, they were
Yeah,
tons
So the
of people.
promoters was making money.
Yeah, remember I said Floyd Bennett Field,
Wow.
Prospect Park, and
These-
these kind of things
these
you're talking
events was
about.
ramming out.
4,
It
5,
wasn't-
6, 7,000
wasn't,
people.
So
on
the
it.
question becomes, why did you guys do it? Why did you do it knowing that the promoters was making the money and you guys couldn't get paid?
There was two factors. There was the hopeful factor.
Yeah.
We hope it work out this time. You understand? And then it didn't happen again. So you hope. And then what happened is, remember now, you leave from a small island and you're in the US. You're seeing the potential to make something happen for you. It escaping your grasp every time. But every time it escapes your grasp, you still see it dangling right there to grab it and go again. So you're willing to take the chance to go again. And you get for fulfillment from seeing the response, because also too at the time, our generation at the time was also just coming out of being bombarded from those before us, or a lot of people before us who probably never traveled to, constantly saying, Soca will never go nowhere, Soca will never do this, Soca will never. So you're hearing this all the time, but yet when you're here, you're seeing movements.
You saw the potential.
You're seeing potential. Sometimes you go to some places, you see artists that you only see on TV in the show.
Yeah.
So you're like, yo, you know, you're in this space of a different energy that you only could have dreamed of, and that dream is what used to keep you alive and going.
So the only factor for it that did not meet the relationship to make it a proper
business
was the business side.
Yeah.
The energy was there. Your songs was flattening the place. The crowd was loving it.
Yeah.
People were buying tickets. The events were being sold out. You were getting the events. You're on the shows. You're on the performances. The only issue that needed to be fixed was the business aspect of it.
Let me ask you this. Back home in Trinidad, was it the same thing where the promoters weren't paying, or it was
No,
a
you got
different?
paid in
No, no,
Trinidad.
In Trinidad, it was
Yeah,
just
you
when
got
you came
paid.
here.
Yeah, when it
Just
came here, it used
outside.
to be all different kind of
Yeah, it was
schematics happening.
different.
You know, and sometimes I talk about this, is the promoters put an event and it's score. And then when every artist looking, promoter gone, with the promoter fly out, he gone to Atlanta, or he go to say, and thing, and next thing it have a, listen, I used to be some real TV things happening too.
It was amazing.
I remember one time, I can't remember the promoter at the time, and the event was, that was, Hoopland was the venue at Demiers.
Oh, I got
right?
my fair share of that.
The place was full. I remember that this was like Fayann and them just first come up.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the security come outside and say, what's
So the place packed. First time in America, had the wonderful experience of coming dead winter. So it's like March, in March somewhere around this. Wind, like it was freezing. Never met that kind of cold in my life before. Never experienced it. So I was really underprepared. And the band and myself is outside, and we're asking, okay, so where do we go? And the guy said, oh, that's the artist entrance in the back there. And we went to the artist entrance and pung in the back door. And the guy, the security, looked outside and says, yes, can I help you? I say, where the band? Yeah, in 1 second. Close by the door. We're outside freezing. This man comes back outside and say, all right, all the way in the band, come. Listen, the crowd that was outside ran us over, and we're now, here, woman, yes, I'm the band. And I'm like, what? Come on, sir. Before we knew it, there was like about 78, 100 people pushing. You know what he did?
Close the door.
He just let the first set of people in, and we were locked outside again.
Nobody.
The promoter now, because we're ready to go on stage, the promoter now is like, hold on, where is this band? He now had to come back outside, and because the man, first time we in the US, he don't know who's the band members, can't identify us. The promoter comes outside and say, bro, this is the band. I said, I was trying to tell him, but he wasn't listening. When he let us in, you know, by the time we got inside, lights on, show done,
party done.
Yeah,
Party done.
that was it.
Yeah.
Lights on, and
Party
the
done.
police was like, all right, everybody.
So the struggle is there, guys. Those of you who are listening, Fayann and Bunji is in the studio, and we're just talking about, because this is the part of soca that we don't know.
Yeah.
This is the pain and the suffering.
A lot of
Nobody
people
talks
don't know.
about the pain and the suffering,
Yeah.
right? On our side, right, and I'm just going to be honest with you, on our side, I've always looked at it as, okay, the hype from Carnival in Trinidad just makes everything work everywhere else. So I didn't think that you guys had to start from any type of pressure.
So the machine itself was running in terms of the engine itself was running in terms of momentum from carnival to carnival. The energy was transferring itself, but the inner workings, as we was explaining just now, that was defragmented in all different proportions. Right?
When did you guys get to start fixing that? Was it big songs that fixed it? What fixed it?
Well, two things: big songs, and just that persistence and prominence of always being in the public's, in this space and in your face, kind of started to force promoters to realize, or come to terms that, all right, we need to deal with these people, because now we start to put the foot down, like, okay, well, we ain't doing this no more, we ain't taking that no more, whatever. And then when some of the promoters realize, okay, we need to conform a bit then the conforming started to happen slowly over time. Because they still have, even up to now, you still have those who, they ain't going down that road. They're looking to see if they could sponge off for somebody else. And we wait till they're here and cut some backdoor deal and this and that. And they ain't trying to do no paperwork. And they want to call no manager. They're trying to reach the artist direct to beg it down and all kind of different things. So, and that story just never end, you know.
Does the dancehall and the reggae culture help you guys to identify what you're supposed to be getting? Because at the time, dancehall was already getting per diems and hotels and stuff.
I will speak for me first on that part. Or no.
Well, the thing is, I'll be very honest with you, right? And this is not in a bad way, and it is not dancehall's fault, right? Dancehall did what dancehall had to do, especially in Trinidad. But there was a divide many years ago in Trinidad where the dancehall artists weren't allowed to fraternize with the soca artists. So when you had an event, if there was soca on the bill, we didn't get to see the dancehall artists.
Oh, wow.
Even if we were performers. And I remember one time there was a show with Naughty by Nature Tretch, Sizzler, and myself, and the band I was in, and they literally had an entrance for soca artists to come in. And then they had one for the dancehall artists and the R&B acts and the hip-hop acts to come in. And when we came to the backstage had a fence. So I performed and I was walking off the stage and I was like, oh my gosh, look, Tretch from Naughty by Nature. So I was just walking off the stage and I did not know he looked at the performance, him and Sizzler. And they were like, yo, we want to meet her. So I'm seeing them talking to whoever, like Tretch is talking. And I'm walking to come to say hi because it's Naughty by Nature. And the promoter says to him, no, she can't come back. I said, well, this man was livid. He's like, how you mean I come to Trinidad and Tobago and I can't meet the artists? Why are we separate from them? I don't understand. And they're your celebrities and they're your stars. And from that day, I think he kind of put into the minds of the artists, especially for us who was backstage, that this is not right or sensible.
So interesting. This is interesting because it seems to me like the artists from Trinidad, you guys were accepting a whole lot of stuff that wasn't fair at the time.
Yeah, because it's something that was learned too.
It's tradition.
It's something that we learned from before because Trinidad and Tobago, society-wise, are very friendly people. Everybody very family-oriented. Everything is happy-go-lucky. Yeah, man, don't study that, do this, do that. And oftentimes that flows over into business.
Yeah.
So what you used to find a lot of the elder artists before us, they had a lot of friend relationship with the promoters. So a lot of the promoters at the time used to escape with a lot of things that the artists didn't. I remember it had 1 year, this promoter in Toronto, he probably owed, and Fade Dad passed that, he probably owed them artists for like 10 years straight because every year somebody come in to rub the box of money. So they move it out from the venue. And then the next day, when time to fly back to Trinidad, he called in the hotel. Yeah, on the way now. On the way, by the time he reached the hotel, Fake reached the hotel, all them artists done already in the airport flying to Trinidad.
But they come back the next year and do it all over.
And again.
Because it was an unspoken ill that, and then too, a lot of the artists was afraid of being blacklisted.
That too.
What was your alternative? You're a musician by trade, by desire. You don't have a 9 to 5, and most of the artists came from scenarios where music was what they were really talented and good at, and they were getting the opportunity to travel. So you kind of weighed the pros and cons and decided, you know what, okay, fine, it didn't work out this time, and it's like Bunji said, probably next time. And then when you keep seeing everybody else staying in the same scenario, you're like, well, okay, well, if them still here, then it must have something. So you kept hope alive.
Yeah.
And I guess with everybody refusal to leave the relationship of the industry, it just kept, more and more people just kept coming in, and until a couple of us was like, you know what, this had to change. And I remember me, myself, and this, historically, it kind of gave me a kind of a name with some people, because I was one of the people who was like, listen, this don't make any sense. And I don't think this should be the way it should be. And we started demanding some change. And of course, you're coming from a line of older generation artists who was like, it good, so
Yeah.
I sing, you get some rum, you get
Yeah,
some
yeah.
girls, a lime, whatever.
Yeah.
What are you coming to talk about? You need a dressing room.
Right.
Yeah.
And you need a parking spot. And you need tickets.
Yeah.
And you have a rider.
Because all that's extra expensive.
Excuse
comes in,
I,
But the other artists coming to Trinidad was getting those stuff,
right,
correct?
because
Yeah.
they were seen as deserving. You are here. And that's why they say familiarity breeds contempt, because the people you're familiar with, it's like you have family and friends. You have a business, they come to your business, they want a discount, they want it free. Why ain't giving them? They want it on credit, but they will go by a stranger and spend a ton of money.
But it almost seems like it becomes a culture as well, because even when you leave Trinidad and you come here, the promoters want to do the same thing that they're doing back home in Trinidad.
Because it's your same people.
It's the same people.
It's the same people. You're
It's-
from the same.
this
it's
is
the same-
crazy.
Now, in all fairness, right, and I could say this on behalf of Fayann, and I mean, you can't, to broad brush all of them like that wouldn't be true now.
No, they had-
right?
yeah, they had the ones
really
that
had
did
some
good,
good
yeah.
ones who really fight to help build the industry.
Very
the
true.
level we at now, right? But there were those who really hurt it, and of course, and things like that. But let me add something to what Faye say, and also add to what you asked just now, right? But I'll talk about what Faye say first. And the reason, and it was important that you say that, right? Because it's your people, they expect different, right? But from ever since, look, Trinidad and Tobago, where arts and culture is not on the top of the pyramid scheme, right? It's not seen as the way out. Trinidad was never considered a poor society, right? We have a very strong middle class, the upper class, thing like that, right? So because of that, the academics and the political forum and the judge and the lawyer and the doctors and the medicals and the engineers take the forefront, right? So they are the very top of the scheme. After that, if you don't exist in that, and the CEOs of the companies and things, you move down to the engineering, you move down to the sciences. After that, you move down to the agricultures and, you know, them kind of things. Then you subscribe after, if you don't fall into that aspect, the protective services, the soldiers, the police, the fire department, this, whatever. Then you have the service, you have the, what do they call, like, the people who do electricity and supply water and that kind of thing, right? If you fail all that, then you become a mechanic, auto parts
Construction
dealer,
worker.
construction worker, this, that, whatever the case is. Then you fail all that. Then you become some kind of self-employed, this, your own business. After you fail all that, it's then when you could consider becoming a musician.
So you're at the
Wow.
bottom of the
So
Very
music is
bottom.
at the bottom.
Very
Yeah.
bottom. And
Even though
And
it's the
sports.
kind of the biggest tourist attraction in the
Right.
country.
So that's why it was always difficult for music or arts and culture to get respect in Trinidad, because it was never considered the way out.
Top tier.
Up to about 20 years ago, it was very difficult for artists to get a loan from the bank, because it's, you have a
Oh, yeah.
fluctuating income.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have a steady income. So you can't get a loan from the bank like that, right? Because you're not seen as you have a constant job or actual. I remember the height of Faye Prime and my Prime, and somebody was asking, so when you going to get real work? It was a real work. You know? So that's where it is. So because of that now, your sense of maneuvering and how you see things tend to end up being different, and sometimes can end up warped in your own existence, because now you're forced to accept things that you didn't even know or think things that you shouldn't accept, you think you should accept it, right? Which brings me now to something you said just now. If dealing with our Jamaican counterparts, we saw things and learned things that help affect the change in the business, I would say yes. I could say no too, but I would say yes too. Because for me, when we had our band in Brooklyn, this is before Faye and I got together, she was still with their band, I had my own band, right? When we were staying in the 50s and 90s in some house we'd rent and thing, almost every 2 weeks, we'd be booked by some promoter in Queens or Brooklyn or wherever for a reggae show as a soca band, right? And that kept us employed. We was doing soca shows too. But the rate that we was getting booked for all these appearances, all these reggae shows, it still baffles me up to this time, right? And the way they dealt with us when we get to the venue, even the way they sent for us to get to the venue, the way they would treat us at the venue, the thing, wherever, even some of the biggest dancehall and reggae acts who had the show would come around, introduce themselves, and we all get a vibe and thing and talk. We never expect, because I'm telling, just as Faye said, when they're being brought to Trinidad,
It's a separation.
it's a separation. Trinidad artists go so and the foreign artists go so. And as the promoter making that decision. And sometimes even the artists get puzzled too, like, why are you separating us from them? We want to meet them and things like that. So that kind of help us understand where we were supposed to stand.
I always thought, and this is a really interesting conversation, it's powerful as well.
Yeah.
I always thought that it was the culture
Yeah.
that separated dancehall and soca at some point, right? Because I know back home in Jamaica, you know, dancehall and dancehall and reggae is more of a garrison,
Right.
rude boy thing.
Yeah.
So we don't listen to soca
Yeah.
in those
Like,
days,
yeah.
right? We were doing our thing. Not even, to be honest with you, not even hip hop.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when we were growing up and we was youths, you listen one type of music and one type of music only, which was dancehall and reggae,
Yeah.
right? When you got further up in society in Jamaica, this is where you would get the soca
Right.
or
With
at
Byron
that
Lee
time
and-
calypso,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? So I always thought that it was the culture that divided the both genres of music.
Partially.
Partially,
So
yeah.
it was the culture that divided it. It was some of the religious influence that divided it. It was also perception that divided it, because
Yeah.
carnival for many years was seen as a vulgar celebration of looseness, lewd, nude, just people just naked and whining and gyrating and drinking, and people did not see the economic side of carnival, which is, for carnival, people who, you just need a skill and a will to make money for carnival. For instance, there are vendors. People overlook the fact that vendors, which is moms and dads and their families who have really sweet hands, could cook, get a food badge. She could post up in front all the fetes. So if carnival ran for 2 months, and there was tons of events, that's 2 months worth of events. She could find a space and sell her food. She could have more than one stall. You could put one here and then have family members or friends or whatever assist in the next one. There was also the opportunity for people to do cleaning. So people formed small cleaning companies and they would target the smaller venues to clean. There was people are now doing decor services for the events. People are now doing like dressing rooms. So there's a girl in the gym that I go to. What she and her husband does is they do VIP service. So like when we have backstage in our dressing room, she comes, refills your ice bucket, she brings you a drink, them kind. So they've found creative ways to personalize services that they're seeing could add to the industry. And these are things that people didn't see from before, because they looked at the beads, the bikini, the feathers, the flowers, the wine, and they didn't realize, let's go from an academic standpoint. Do you know how much brain it takes to wire a truck for it to play sound on the move for the entire day with a generator? That's sound engineering. That's a very skillful task. Producing a song, they did not understand that just the mere fact that somebody could sit and construct a song, that's English, grammar, literature, that's poetry. Putting a melody towards that. I asked somebody, could you score a song? Could you sit down and listen to a piece of music and score it? That's what Beethoven and these people did. And you give those people reverence and applause. Yeah. But when we have our own musicians writing, scoring, transposing keys and chords and all these different things, you're not impressed. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's just done in a different genre. You will listen to a scored piece of classical music and you will not see that the same sort of thought and energy went into a scored piece of soca music, calypso music, dancehall music, hip hop, whatever it is. It's the same application. Then using the equipment to run everything through, to process it. The people who do the graphics, they see an uptick in the amount of work that they get, because now their computerized skills is needed, because you're no longer drawing stuff by hand, like on records and stuff. It's digitalized. So now you have to learn your computers. You have to get all the software and all the different stuff. You have to do that. The guy who's sprinting. You can go on and on and on. Carnival and the entertainment industry
is pushing a lot of things.
But it's a very true trickle-down economy. Because even the man that's selling water on the street, because of the high volume of traffic to and from the airports, the businesses, the fetes, the events, he sells more water. You can't tell me he don't sell more water. If more people coming in your country, You can't tell me you're selling the same amount of water as when it's not carnival and there's less people on the road. So there's a business of carnival that goes unnoticed because it does not suit the narrative or contribute to the narrative that carnival is vulgar and lewd, and that is all it is. And they don't see the people who've sent their children to school, who've paid off their bills, bought homes, who live comfortably because of carnival. Yet, these people will not put their TV on mute and watch a movie. Why are you watching a movie with sound if music is such a bad thing? Mute your TV and watch the movie with no music and tell me if you enjoy it the same. When you have a birthday party, you don't play any music. Just invite a bunch of people to sit down around your cake and blow out the candle. When you have a wedding, when you have a party, when you have an event in your house, don't play any music. Just go soundless and see what will happen to your life. Sound is stimulating.
I didn't know that this was the story.
Right.
I didn't know, and I think that there's so many people who are listening, and when I post this, a lot of people are not going to understand, because coming from the Jamaican perspective, we've always, and you know, music is a powerful thing,
right?
Because we've gotten older, we've been able to grow into music, we've been able to meet you guys, share a space with you guys, and realize that, oh, the soca thing, we're brothers and sisters, but it wasn't like that in the beginning. I remember, and these things still happen today. Right, but on a smaller scale.
Right.
Because in Jamaica, the soca carnival scene is more of a society thing. That is how it's looked at. Right? And it's not that Jamaican people today don't like soca music. I think they are upset with the unfair treatment of the dancehall versus the soca in their country, which would be Jamaica. So, you know, the Jamaican would say, but yo, them naked on the road. Them gyrating, them doing all of the things them that we do in the dance hall, but you fight it.
Right.
But when carnival comes to town, right, they're doing it in uptown spaces where we cannot access. So there's always been this back and forth with the soca, but at the same time, I can say this: I've watched soca become like a silent creeper. Throughout the Caribbean, right? There was always carnival, there was always energy, but it was amongst a certain set of people. I've started to see in the last couple of years where your music and Fayann's music and other artists, it started to bleed in. The vibe became infectious, where you started, because I say it here all the time, there was a time not too long ago here, even in New York, where people started to say, dancehall parties are boring. Not going.
Right.
We're going to the soca parties. Because when you went to the soca parties, they also played a local dancehall.
Yes.
Right? The dancehall parties didn't play a local soca.
That's true.
Because the dancehall parties was losing the patrons, they had to now turn to play the soca because soca became so popular. So I started now seeing people who normally wouldn't be at a soca fete. You're at a soca fete now. You know what I mean? And you know, over a period of time, we started to see the industry like this. Right? So we're getting, you know, more combinations with soca and dancehall artists, more camaraderie. And, you know, the soca thing is filling like spaces, not underground. No, it's starting to get more commercial. And I'm happy for that. Because now that I know the story, it makes it even more meaningful. And no one, you know, no disrespect to any other soca artist, I don't think anyone has ever explained the story.
You see, I mean, the story go way deeper than that too. So it's really a lot to harness to be able to reproduce all that information too, And remember, a lot of us artists coming in at different chapters. And
so some know the struggle, some don't know the struggle.
Some came in at the tail end, some came in at the beginning.
Because you know, some people, a lot of us are guilty to have not shared. We are very secretive people too, in terms of we don't like to talk things out like that, right? Like we will be looking at an interview from in Jamaica, and we hear some artists talking something like, "Yo, legalized to say that on public space." Our society wouldn't necessarily do that, right? I'm thinking very, very protective of what we say, because what you might be saying might be the truth, but that same truth could turn and damage your real bad.
But you know,
so people prefer just not saying nothing.
It's funny though, Bunji, because we've always saw you as one of us. One of the outspoken people in Trinidad. One of the rebels there.
That's what I am. That.
We've always saw you as one of the rebels and then also Fayann as well. Because when Fayann head take her, she got on social media. That's it. You know what I mean? It's pepper. And I've always loved that about the two of you. I know you guys love the music and love the culture, but at the same time, you stand up for what you believe in. And even if it goes against something that's culturally accepted, I can see Fayann saying, listen, this not happen no more. And I'm telling you today, you know what I mean? Or Bunji taking that same stance. So I always looked at, you guys. Of course, Fayann is a female, so we're more relatable to you as, one of the ragamuffin, Bunji a bad boy. You know what I mean? Yeah, Bunji a bad boy. That's what the thing said. You know what I mean? Has that gotten you in problems in Trinidad?
But not couldn't handle. But for real, there were times more than now where the perception of being that type of individual shouldn't allow me to be in this kind of space or that kind of space. All that too is what kind of make my journey in stepping through soca a little more difficult, where I have to fight, because there was this idea that, I bring in something a little too rough to the core of the thing, and that's not necessarily supposed to be existing. So I had to kind of fight a little more to prove my point, because I remember I wasn't doing contemporary style soca, and I was saying things, I was saying things in a space that people just wanted to be happy. What I was saying would actually work in the Calypso arena, because Calypso is more social
commentary. Social commentary, yes.
Right. Talk about the topics of the day, the ills of society and things. Yet still I found a way to use that and still make a party to it. A lot of people who didn't understand how that was working together. But they had no choice but to, because I wasn't letting up, right? I was fighting my way through straight to the end. If I had to fight every single day or no, I fight and going through. It's no problem for me.
It took, from the outside looking in, it seemed to me like it took a while for you.
It took a while for me.
Because at one point, I've always been a Bunji fan, but because you're a lyricist and we love that, right? But I've always seen you as like a non-commercial soca artist. That seemed like it was your position for a very long time.
All right, I was all this conversation we have now kind of affect my journey coming up, which is all right. Just that same thing you talk about, the what you thought the cultures kind of separate itself from each other, right? So you have the real nationalists, the traditionalists, who, as far as they're concerned, nothing's supposed to mix with soca. You're not supposed to experiment. But soca in itself is an experiment. Soca is a fusion of two different cultural backgrounds to make that music, right?
Exactly.
Which is from the African drums and the East Indian following that come together to make soca. Soca is short for Soul of Calypso.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that music is not to say like it was just born on its own. It was stemmed from two cultures to
make a fusion.
That one music, right? So, but then the tradition, and just as in all things, you meet something that exists so long, you think that's the way it's supposed to be. So for the soca traditionalists, what I was doing was sacrilege, which is you're already mixing two music, but now you're taking a music that we don't really want to be wrong with too much and mixing it with this thing, something wrong with you, right? So that's why that whole raga soca thing, what I was doing, was kind of frowned upon as, you're doing too much mixture, brother. No, don't do that. But to me, I wasn't doing nothing wrong, because as far as I was concerned, it was like, but we in Trinidad, this is the music. When we was going to school in Trinidad, I was 16, 17, 14, 15 coming up there, right? All the music we going to school with in the Maxia is that, well, we used to call it dub.
Yeah.
Right? So is Junior Cat, is Super Cat, is Pinchers, is Nada Ranks, is this one, is that. That's what we go into school with, because we already banned from listening we own music in Trinidad for the rest of the year. So we're listening to we Caribbean neighbors' music through the year. So my style get adapted from that. And all year we going this and day and night, everything, your parties, dance, all this, we listen is non-stop music from Jamaica, more than music from America. Right? You had the Billboard Top 40 and Top 100 and all that. But the music from Jamaica at the time, as we were teenagers, is what we were listening to.
So there was a heavy influence.
Heavy influence because the things that we thought we wanted to say was being said in song. Because we couldn't say it in soca, so we began to say it here. And that's why so many youth gravitated towards it at the time. And then added to that, because of how Trinidad is set up, as a young person, it was very difficult for you to get into the music of Trinidad and Tobago because you was supposed to study your education first. That is why most of the artists who break out in Calypso at the time would be over 30 because you went to school to get all your passes and all that. So when you come into the game, you come into the game as a big man and a woman already, right? Very rare, and with the exception that I saw Marshall Montano as a kid because he had his mother to guide him, and there was another young lady called Natasha
No, but
Wilson.
he also said Too Young to Soca, eh?
And he sang Too Young to Soca. He was
That's
singing
why he said that.
Too Young to Soca. He wasn't supposed to be in that at that age. Right?
So it was a true story from him.
So that's why soca for a long time and calypso was seen and regarded as our old people music.
This is interesting.
Only elders was allowed to be in it.
So what was the youth them supposed to do? Just
go to school,
wait your turn,
get your education,
and listen to whatever music is provided.
By the time, and then when you finish all that, coming.
But can I tell you a flip side to that? On the televisions, CVM showed no soca music videos. So imagine Carnival finishes in February.
Yeah.
CVM and whatever.
Well, even before that, we had all them American TV and this TV. And
so we got music videos, but the music videos was of Calypso and from the older heads.
Yeah.
So when you like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you're taking something called we call a maxi taxi to school.
Yeah.
To school in the maxi taxi, you're hearing dancehall and possibly some reggae.
Yeah.
From school back home, that's what you're hearing. When you get home, on the TV, the dancehall videos are the prominent ones that you're seeing. You may see one or two local content videos, but it would either be a nation building song or it would be a calypso that somebody did, like Wanderer or the Mighty Somebody.
Yeah.
So now you're a teen, preteen youth, and you're trying to connect with your culture, but there's no young people in your age bracket that's performing that you could say, "Oh, I identify." That's why the Marshall Montanos and the Natasha Wilsons of the world that came into soca, they were so important because when they started making the rounds into school, we were like, finally, somebody young like us. Somebody who looks like us, who gets it. You understand? They're wearing the clothes that you want to wear, the hairstyles they're dressing, as opposed to the traditionally older artists. They wore suits. So it was full shirt and jacket and tie and hat and them kind of stuff.
So very unrelatable then to you guys as youth.
They look like your dad.
They look like your parents.
So you grew up in a dance hall then?
Yes. Yes, you did.
You grew up in dance hall?
Yes, you did. So Carnival, you get a little experience with the soca music. And this is coming from me, whose father is one of the pioneers for soca. Because even he himself faced problems, because what they would do is in the tents, they would hire him to hype the crowd up. So he wasn't even because what he was doing was seen as a would be like the pepper on your food. So the calypso was seen as the food, and people like Super Blue and stuff was seen like the little pepper sauce you put to give your food a little spice. So he was the hype up more or less.
They didn't give him the main.
No, not until he started getting that prowess. But even self, at the end of the day, to me, he still wasn't relatable from the standpoint of a young person because I was his daughter and nobody my age could identify with him other than his music. So yes, you know who he was. He was an amazing performer, but he was not in your age bracket. He was not a young teenage artist or a young youthful artist that you could say, hey. But then when you watch the dancehall artists, they're 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old dancehall artists.
Remember you seen Lil Vicious and
exactly.
They started young. In Jamaica,
young.
they would start young.
So you're seeing a 14-year-old is this big dancehall, and they have music videos, and you're like, wow, that is amazing.
Well, you see, from what you guys are describing to me, it's a cultural thing. Because you're saying that the way your society would be set up in Trinidad is that you do everything first and then you turn to music.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In our Jamaican culture, for most of the ghetto youths, that was their way out.
Music is the way out.
Music was their way out. So
One time.
they're at the studios hanging out and trying to get in.
Yeah.
So it was a total different thing. Guys, those of you who are locked in, this is a very enlightening conversation, not the usual soca conversation,
No, it's
not.
right? We got new music to drop on you guys, but this is so important for people who love Bunji and Fayann and Marshall and everybody else to understand the journey and the fight.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, we say Caribbean music, right?
Yeah.
But it's always like reggae soca and then reggae dancehall and then soca's all the way.
Yeah.
When it comes to the broader scope, you know,
Yeah.
like becoming world music.
Yeah.
But yet and still, you know, you have people like yourself.
Yeah.
You have people like Marshall that is pulling huge numbers and have this real impact.
Yeah.
What do you guys think that holds back the real commercial buzz for the music?
Well, if you look at, I always say, if you look at every movement, the core of every movement that happens is their own people that is in the movement. Right? It's the same thing like when reggaeton burst on the scene, the core of reggaeton was the people that came from where that came from. If you follow, like when the artist from Jamaica bust now, and he get big all over the world, when you go to the events or you check people who following, the core of that movement is people where he's from. The problem, I want to use the word problem very loosely here. The problem with especially Trinidad and Tobago, as a people, we are very warm people, right? So as a people, we love embracing people. That's how it always has been in Trinidad. We always love embracing people almost to the level of the way we should embrace ourselves. We embrace people at that level.
That's
and
true.
sometimes even more.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. And we embrace people so much that we end up putting ourselves second. Right? Like years ago when I went to Jamaica for Joker's Wild and we went to the Cricket Mountain thing, Renaissance was playing some song and he was playing some soca tracks and I remember this little old man passing and saying, "Where I play so much island music for? The islands are playing with music," and I watching this man like,
If
if
he
you
only knew.
know.
Because they don't.
See, if
no,
you
no.
only
I
know.
want you guys to understand. And because of music, I've been able to come to visit Trinidad and other
Right.
places. And I'm telling you, as a Jamaican, we had no idea that so much of the soca islands played dancehall and reggae on the radios. It's when we got there. We started to realize, but wait, it's a different thing.
But we
So
have-
somebody who's not traveling, they're gonna think that all you guys play is so listen to the
No,
soca.
but we play artists you all don't even play. There's artists from
Which is
Jamaica
true.
Yeah.
that's
Lots.
huge in Trinidad.
Which is true.
You have Jamaican artists that when we went to Jamaica at times and we like, hey, how's this song doing? They're like, who's that? Like, what do you mean, who is that? That is one of the biggest songs in Trinidad. And they're like, what? Never heard of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, for real,
he's
for real.
Jamaican. They're like, trust
No,
me.
for real.
That song, we don't know that artist over here.
It's a strange. This is a very strange dynamic. And the next thing I want to ask you about before we get to some music is, I'm sensing also there was a divide between the islands, though, that the Soca Islands. Is that true as well? Because it seems like you guys are now coming together, but it wasn't like that before.
I wouldn't say a divide.
Nah.
I would say everybody, like, so before soca was the mission, right? Push soca. And I think as the music grew, everybody wanted their own identity of soca.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we're going down the road, we have a bag of money,
Yeah.
and before we reach the destination, we start, okay, so how much is mine? How much is who getting what?
Yeah.
And now we're spending time dividing up soca amongst ourselves. And you're getting this soca from here is going to be called this soca from here is going to be called that. But fortunately for us, but unfortunately for us, the rest of the world just sees it as soca.
I see that soca.
And I love the fact that we have identifying markers.
Yeah.
Because we don't sound the same, you know. It's the equivalent to everybody from the Caribbean being called Jamaican because of the accent.
Right.
And if you don't know an Antiguan accent from a Lucian accent, you'll think, well, everybody is the same. So I get it. Yes, we need the identity, we need the markers, but we also need to be mindful to not slow the movement because we're trying to be self-identified. Because then you lose time and you lose ground. Instead of creating a space where we all consume each other's music, we're going to create a space where, well, if I'm from here, I consume this, and if I'm from there, I consume this, and we consume it in parts. And when you consume it in parts, we can't make a fist. It's like
you shatter the music.
yeah, but you need fingers to fold to make a fist. If you keep the hands open and everybody want a finger, you'll never make a fist. Can't make a fist, you can't make a blow.
Yeah.
The music is getting popular. I mean, radio is now playing soca, commercial radio,
Right.
Yes.
right? Which has started some time ago. Your song, Ready for the
Ready for
Road,
the Road.
trust me, when it just exploded on commercial radio, right? Which I thought was a major thing for soca, right? Because normally we hear Marshall,
Yeah.
right? Now we see other artists creeping through. Yours was a major, and I'm sure that changed your career
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Yep,
getting
yep.
on major platforms, right? Because and again, I'm going to speak from the outside looking in because I'm
Right.
not a pro at soca,
Right.
There was artists up here, and then Bunji here. Even though we thought that Bunji was super talented, it was like, to me, like that raga muffin thing never gave you the opportunity
Yeah.
to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then all of a sudden we started to see.
Yeah.
We started to see.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm from the outside looking
Right.
in.
Yeah.
Where you're like, all right, well, if I can't get this man, let me try to get Bunji.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I got Bunji, then I'm still in it, which is a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Now, I saw, this is, Fayann goes off on when she's ready, right? I saw Fayann making a really good point that I really want to bring up. That whole aspect of having a catalog of songs versus having one hit song. Explain to me what that means in soca.
Okay. So in soca, we love individual wins, right? Individual wins. We love individual wins. An individual win could present itself in the form of an artist making it big or in the form of a song making it big. The problem with that is an individual win is not a team win. And we can't advance as a genre if we keep just having individual wins. Hence the reason we keep trying to do stuff that makes the genre look a particular way. Even the way we do interviews is not going to be a typical interviews of, well, I come out and this, and we try to kind of put some substance into
Yeah.
what we're saying.
Yeah.
When you look at dancehall, y'all have multiple Grammy award winning, hit making, touring, numbers calculating, status filled artists. That's a win for the genre. You understand? That's not a win. That's not an individual. They win individually, but it's still a genre win. So your whole industry moves forward. What that means is, even if these people that did all of this took a rest from dancehall, it's been so solidified
Yeah.
that the others coming up, they already have generational wealth.
Yeah, they have a platform.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
You just need to access it.
Yeah.
When you have an individual win, there's no generational wealth for soca lovers that's coming up who wants to participate because the win wasn't for the genre.
Yeah.
The win was for a person. And we're trying to show people, listen, having one hit that is the biggest hit in the world, I will forfeit that to have a catalog of songs that I could go perform for 2 hours.
And this becomes, and again, just because we're on our platform, I have to say it, this becomes the argument with the Kevin Little versus everybody else. Kevin has that big song,
Right.
that Kevin will go on any platform and he'll automatically say, I'm the biggest thing in soca because I got the biggest song, and it doesn't matter that you have all of these songs because none of them don't equate to my song.
Okay, so then let me add, and big up to Kevin Little wherever you're standing. May God bless you and your talent. And this is by no way taking or training.
This is a reasoning.
This is a reasoning. So if you're not understanding the reasoning, then tag a friend. The issue that I think people fail to see is, if that is the mathematical equation that we are going to use, then by right, Bob Marley is supposed to be the biggest thing in dancehall and Jamaican music, and everybody else is obsolete. Forget what Shaggy did. Forget what Sean Paul did. Forget what Maxi Priest did. Forget what Bounty, Buju, Beanie, Cartel. Forget what all of them did. Then we'll be standing on Bob Marley's shoulders forever. You
But you
understand?
see, in the comparison that you're making, and this, of course, is just a good reasoning, is not beating up on anyone, right? Bob Marley at least has a catalog. Kevin doesn't have a catalog.
No, but I'm saying, forget the catalog part.
Right.
We're looking at when you say Jamaican music, you still say Bob Marley.
Right.
To the rest of the world. So by his estimation, when you say soca, you're saying him, right? With his song. I am saying no problem. If we use that measure, let me ask you something. From a sensible consumer aspect, how beneficial is it to have the biggest song in the world and you can only sing for 5 minutes? Because a song is 3 minutes long. So I gave you 2 minutes for a wheel and a pull up and a talk and a come back again. How do you not see that we can all win differently? You won by getting mega hit song. Congratulations. Some of the other artists won by not getting a mega hit song, but by getting a series of multiple hit songs that they've accumulated over the years that they can actually do an hour-long performance. So your win is you can do a mega hit song for 5 minutes. Some of us win is we can do a non-mega hit song, but we could do a 2-hour set. So a win is, we win differently.
Right.
And we can't say,
So
well,
one
because
win is
you
not
are win.
better than the other.
No, because
Right.
oh fine, your win is a 5 minute hit, mega hit, colossal. Hip hip hooray for that. But you can only stay on stage for 5 minutes. My hits, Bunji's hits, Marshall hits, Destra's hits, everybody else's hits is not as colossal. No problem. But we can stay in the game on stage for 2 hours.
Let me ask you guys a hard question. It may be an easy one for you. Which one is more credible to the culture and the genre?
Based on, all right, as it stands, based on how the culture is set up, being able to have catalog and carry a catalog, not necessarily major hits, because our industry is based on a performance type industry. We like to see movement, we like to see energy, we like to see you carry that thing for long. So you could have the biggest hit in the world and you can't perform, nobody don't want to see it.
So then let me give you an easier analysis. Would you like one day with a mega feast or every day with a plate of food for the rest of your life? Which one you think has more significance?
The mega feast has less significance because you just have to fill your belly one time and it done.
So that's the same thing with music. The reason why you have hit makers like Lionel Richie and all of them, even Michael Jackson, with multiple songs. Chris Brown on tour right now. Hits upon hits and still churning out music because they understand that there's something that artists love more than a hit. It's called consistency. So you could have a hit, but a consistent hit is better than one mega hit. Any day. And any artist would tell you they would love to be on that stage to perform for fans for 45 minutes. Solid set, people enjoy themselves. Then go on stage and they have to wheel and pull up the same song. And like I'm saying, the discussion is for educational purposes.
Right.
Because I know how people like to twist and turn stuff. It's not a shade. I'm showing the logic behind how people could look at stuff differently and not formulate arguments that divide the Caribbean. Everybody wins differently. There are artists we know, they came on the scene, they contributed amazing 2-3 songs and they fell off. But then they're in the background and they're helping to write songs. That's their contribution. So the point is the industry, the genre, and the music. Because we're all going to get old. And one day we're all going to not be on stage in the capacity we are now. What happens to the industry that we leave behind? It does not matter what you think is a success. All that matters is what the success or the contribution you made, what effect it had on the industry.
On everyone else, yes.
And if you're doing something and that something is not rippling through the industry to create change and open doors,
it has less value.
Then your value is
that's an individual
win.
Right.
And that's the dynamics for you talking
Listen,
about between.
one thing I can tell you about Fayann Lion, she's always talking her mind.
Yeah.
And if you listen deeply, it makes sense. Big up to those of you in the chat room. I see everybody following the conversation and saying great interview. Guys, you guys know my thing. Me not really talk about the regular stuff because it has to be a learning process.
Yes,
like we have to learn to appreciate the stars, right? And the way to appreciate the stars is to understand the pain. Understand the journey. It means nothing. Guys, when you guys walk out of this room, I'll have a greater appreciation for soca because I now know about the pain that I never knew about before.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that there's so much people who don't know about the pain. And when you really look at it, I'm telling you, the average Jamaican just falls into that whole soca. Yeah, man. Yeah, uptown people thing because that's how the narrative was always given to us in Jamaica.
You know, what's the flip side to that? We console ourselves with the notion that when they do get into soca, they love it sometimes more than the people who's been into it, and they become such a strong supporter of us, and they come to the events. So we are not disheartened by the people who don't get it and don't understand, who probably wasn't exposed. We're enlightened by the notion that once they do get it, they get it.
We gotta understand each other's culture. I see someone say that we're bridging the gap with this conversation, and it's important because soca is celebrating over there, dancehall and reggae celebrating over here, but we should also be celebrating in the middle together because it's Caribbean culture, it's Caribbean music. We all need to be on the same platforms and we need to celebrate each other because as you just said that many people don't know, you guys grew up on dancehall and reggae as opposed to growing up more on soca. People don't understand that, right? And so when we look at the talents of a Fayann or talents of a Bunji, there's influence there from dancehall and what we've done, right? And vice versa. Now we're at a time, well, before I get to that, I want to ask you guys to go in your mind and tell me, what do you think changed the hardship? And when did it change? When did it start getting more easier where, Fayann now presents herself as the superstar she is. Bunji presents herself as a superstar, and you're respected for that.
I think time is one of the major factors in it too. You give something enough time, it will either mature or in fact, all things mature over time. The deterioration process is something that happens afterwards, and it's how long it takes before it deteriorates. Given the time that we have been in the game, have allowed us to understand where we are and allow people to understand us too. I mean, look, I'm doing this since 99. We only on this radio station having this interview in 2025, right?
That's 26 years?
26 years is a process. So you just have to, it's a case of trusting the process and all things will fall into place. Because sometimes you think you could pinpoint this change here and this change here, and it's not really that. Sometimes you don't even know when it changed.
Well, when in your career, I'm going to ask Fayann the same thing. In your career, when do you start seeing it change for you? What song, what time period?
Different trilogy. That was 2014.
What song was differentology?
Ready for the Road.
Ready for the Road.
Yeah. That was...
So it took that long to change?
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, when things change, you see some amazing things. Because the very month or so, the month when differentology bus, and I remember going into a store somewhere in Trinidad to pick up something, and the lady was like, I never like you, But and I tell her, I say, you can keep the same energy. You don't have to like me now. It's the same person. It's just a different song, But it's amazing to see how people are willing to change their whole view just because of the impact of the song. And that's when I realized there's a whole different trajectory happening now. And I started to kind of have to figure out, and with all due respect, and I know she doesn't like me to do this, but Faye was the person who helped navigate that trajectory.
I can see that.
Yeah, right? She don't like me to say it because she think, but it's true. Because remember too, I was a radical.
She was able to say to you, Bunji, this is it.
Yeah.
This is how we got to move now.
Yeah, I was a radical, right? I was what you call a roughneck then, right?
Yeah, because when you got the Ready for the Road, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what's the move going to be, because hardcore Bunji,
right,
crossover song, and then I started to think, and I'm going to be honest, right, for the sake of a good conversation, I started to think maybe one hit, and that would be it, because of how your persona. So I'm thinking, okay, Bunji did this one, but he ain't going to go down this road. This is not him. And then when I started to see you following up and following it up and following up, and as I say, like, I started to see even the flyers that are coming out now. You know, Bunji's at the bottom, and Bunji, but Bunji
on the top.
You know what I mean? After a while, it's like people starting to see, but I don't think people realize that it took so long for it to happen.
Nah, people didn't realize
when did you start to see changes for yourself, Fayann?
When I decided to, we had a split in management, and I went back to law school. I went to law school for 2 years.
Wow.
I was balancing travel and studying, and I didn't go back to law school to necessarily become a lawyer. I went to law school because I wanted to improve on my argument skills, and I wanted to improve on my business skills, and and I wanted to understand business in a way that if I were to do it, I can actually do it not just from an opinionated standpoint, but I would actually have facts to back what I was saying and how I was operating. And when Differentology came about, it was because he would drop me to law school, and the 3 hours I was in class, he would go in the studio. And every time he picked me up from school, he would say, listen, this is what I did in the studio, this is what I did. And the last piece of the puzzle was when he played it for me, he said, what do you think? I said, it's missing something. And that's how we got the guy who did the guitars to play on it, because I was a big fan of their music. I said, you should put that guy on. And he contacted the guy, put the guy on, and I went back to class the next day and came back. When he played it, I was like, yeah, that's it. So now, fast forward, the song's released. I'm more or less out of school, but still touring, still traveling, still doing stuff. And now we're responsible for our own management, because we split from the manager that we had. So now I said to him, I said, listen, I have an idea for where we should go for the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm not even going to bother whether to tell you if it's going to work or not, because I've not concerned myself with that part. But I can't tell you it's not what we've done in the past. It's not going to be an easy thing to do, but it's a necessary thing that we have to do. And I restructured the way we did business. I restructured the way we did the branding, the marketing, the logo, every single thing. I stripped everything apart and rebuilt. And in doing that, that's when after that we had like Raise and all of this stuff coming up. I said, you know what, we're going to just go. And as fast as things come, I'll figure out where to place what. And that's why I connected with VP. We did over deal. We did over stuff, marketing stuff. And things just started moving. And that's why I was saying with the consistency aspect, I'm really big on consistency. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if there's a scale from 1 to 10. Even if you ring the bell at 1, you're still consistent because you ring the bell. You understand? So there must not be a year you don't ring the bell. Ring the bell. It's from 1 to 10.
Right.
You understand? 1 is the number 2. Just don't go for 0.
Right. Make sure the bell ring.
Anything above 1 is a win. It means you rung the bell. We can hear it. It might be as loud as a 2. It might be as loud as a 3, but it doesn't matter. The point is you were present. You showed up. Keep showing up. And every single year, we both made it our business, despite anything that was happening.
To ring the bell.
To keep ringing the bell. Sometimes you ring it at 4, sometimes you ring it at 10, sometimes you ring it. It doesn't matter. The point is, we stopped focusing on what number you were ringing, and the point was, the bell
consistency,
rang.
yes, the bell rung.
That's it.
And you've been killing it with it, right? Both of you have, right? And the fact that now, Fayann is speaking about the law school and the structure, it all makes sense. Right? These are the stories that I love. My story, these are stories that I love because it all makes sense. It makes sense now why, a ragamuffin can now be more polished and more present in certain spaces where you would say to yourself, ragamuffin not supposed to dare so, right? And of course, I'm proud. I celebrate it because, like, guys, for those of you who don't know, Bunji's one of the coolest dudes.
Yes, he is.
Right? Bunji is one of the, he has this hardcore image, very approachable, very cool, and him love the culture. He loves the culture. Right? So I was excited to get you guys in the studio, by the way, because I just know it would be great, great conversation. Now I don't really understand the whole Soca Monarch thing the way that most people do, but I do understand that Fayann was pissed off, right? Right? I understand that, and because I follow her, right? And Fayann is like, "Yo, this is not happening again.
No,
we done." But can you guys explain to me why the process gets a little unfair?
That was Road March, which is different from Soca
Road March. Yeah, so give me the difference in and let people
so
understand.
Road March is a competition that's more or less judged with the inclusion of the people in a major way. So they're the ones who decide the stage that they cross, which song we want to cross with, what we want to hear on the road when we're masquerading and parading and stuff like that. That's Road March. Soca Monarch is the competition that's done on the stage that has like the Grammy-like effect with all the costumes and the lights and things, and that has a sequenced panel of judges that look for a particular set of things. Yes, you have weigh-in from the crowd, but it's more from a reactive standpoint.
It's a stage show.
Yeah, it's a stage show, so it's not as if they get to actually
Which one brings more value? The people or the judges?
Okay, so for the Road March, the people bring more of a sway, and for the Soca Monarch, the judges kind of have a decision to make because there's rules and guidelines.
Which one do you guys value more?
Well,
both of them.
You have both of them.
Both of them. Different reasons.
For different reasons.
So which was the one that pissed you off this
year
or last year?
No. Okay, so here's what I was saying, right? For the Road March this year, right, there was an issue where one of the judges, one of the people you were hired to do a job, you're a judge, you're an officiator, I don't care what capacity, once you're a part of the competition, an integral part, where you have information that the public does not have, you are now restricted from giving your opinion. You can't give an update, you can't give an opinion, you can't give teasers. That's not your job. Your job is to tally. If the news asks you something, say, listen, it's still a work in progress, give them a diplomatic answer. But you're not allowed as a judge to give your personal opinion on who you think should win or who you think is winning. Because you're creating an avenue for people to cheat. Even for us. Because we could take advantage of the situation and cheat as well. So if you're creating an avenue whereby I am seeing where I could cheat because I am behind and I'm losing, then, and I'm telling you, don't do that, because if I am seeing loopholes, then other people can see loopholes too. So don't do that. Then that's all I'm saying. They did not understand that's what I was saying, and they took it as, well, they're upset because, and somebody said, well, last time when he had hard fat, they gave an update in the newspaper and she said nothing. Of course I said nothing, because the update came from an anonymous source. I can't comment on somebody that's anonymous, as opposed to somebody I am physically seeing in front of my eyes. So when the person who gave the update the last time he won the Road March said, an anonymous source said, how am I to dispute if they're lying or not? They said an anonymous source. Plus, it was a news reporter reporting from the capacity of a journalist. This is the total contrast, total opposite to a judge giving you a tally, which is an unofficial tally because she was giving you from one position. There's not one judging point for Road March. There's several. And they're scattered across Trinidad and Tobago. So you can't give an update from your positioning and make that the positioning because you're one judging point.
Right.
We have to wait by right, and I've been in the Road March race for many, many years. You have to wait by right for all the judges to give in, because guess what? You could say 1,000 votes come in for Bunji, and then you realize the votes were counted wrong, or they were tallied wrong, or there was a discrepancy. Now, when you put out 1,000 votes come in for somebody, and you have to walk that back, you're bringing the judging into disrepute.
Yeah. So now, people think it's now a scam, or you're rigging the whole contest.
You're creating doubt in the system that's been put in place to judge the competition. And I am saying, you have to be very mindful as a judge in any competition, in any capacity. I've looked at American Idol. I've never seen a judge walk out and say, well, you know, contestant B is in the running right now. The people are loving her and she's leading.
Yes, suspense right through.
No, you can't give an update.
So let me ask you something. Do you guys feel that hurt you competing that year?
No, this wasn't about us competing.
It was just you speaking for the culture.
Because at the end of the day, we could have easily said, well, win or lose or whatever the case is. We don't care. But again, if you want to see the industry you're in win, then sometimes you have to put yourself on the line, and you may take a hit, but the industry will take a win. Because guess what? If you blast me because you find, well, Fayann was out of line or whatever the case is, guess what happens in the background? The officiators, the people who owns the competition, are now going to look and reassess the way they do their judging, which is what? Better for all the upcoming artists who's never won a road match.
I love this conversation.
So now you're getting better competition out of it. So I get blasts on social media. I get people attacking me. I get people saying all kind of nasty stuff about me. Fine. I am consoling myself with the fact that I will take the hit, because I know the ripple effect is y'all are going to fix the competition, y'all are going to put better judges, y'all are going to tighten up on all the little loose ends, and the younger artists that's coming up behind me
are going to benefit from
they're going to benefit from
now,
it.
let me ask you something. Did people start to see it your way afterwards, after the smoke clears?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people. Everybody,
Yeah.
they said I was right. You can't comment in a competition. It's a competition. It's like elections going on, and the electorate is coming out and saying, oh, by the way, Party A is in the lead with 1,000 votes, so the people are loving Party A. You can't do that.
And then when people hear that one person is leading, it might say, you know what, I'm going to vote for them just to be part of the the winning result.
You can't
I
do
get
that.
what you're saying.
You can't do that.
Now, what was that for the
that was for the road march.
The road march, right?
Yes.
How much road marches have you both won?
I've won 3.
1.5.
You're not getting away with that. Oh, you get the half and
No, because half was I
was a
I gave him pecan, right?
No, it was a collab.
it was a collab.
That
It was a collab.
family with me,
family.
Marshall, and Skinny.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
No, because that's what we did the pecan,
Yeah.
where he was going up for road march with Hard Fit,
yeah.
and he was like, you know, ting, and he's like, I said, listen, you win 1 road match with 3 people. I win 3 road match with one person. You need to tell us that. And people was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, your 1 road match, you split it with 3 people.
Do you guys compete sometime?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But remember, we was in the Soca Mona competition against each other right through.
Wow.
The one I won the year I was pregnant,
Yeah.
and I made the baby sing, that was his voice.
Yeah.
That was his voice.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, guys, for those of you who didn't, this is husband and wife I'm speaking to, right? Because I don't know if some of you know, right? This is husband and wife. I know some of you don't know, right? So you guys compete.
Yeah.
How is that like in the household?
I don't think it's any kind of way.
Just fun.
Yeah.
I think, you know what I think?
Huh?
I think some fans get a little antsy over it.
Yeah.
As opposed, and we laugh and we're like, listen,
Yeah.
he's an artist, I'm an artist. That's how we love that. We like that, okay, you do this, I go and do this, you do this.
Yeah.
And that's how we were for years.
But it's on the bud. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why it works, so that when he beats me in something, I don't take it personally. And when I beat him, he don't take it personally. And you said fans like, oh my gosh, you know, she's attacking him, and it is entertainment.
And the people want to see that, right? The people want to see it. Like I just watched a clip with you. I think that was Barclays.
Yes.
On Sunday.
Yes, and you know, I enjoy watching Bunji because there's always a freestyle coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I saw you doing your freestyle, and that place was rammed by the way. Rammed by the way, right? And those things gotta make you feel good about soca.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? With the story that you just told me in a couple of minutes ago, right? To coming out and walking out on the stage and saying, yo, as Fayann is saying, for the culture. Right?
For the culture.
Because I used to say this, and you know, people are gonna beat me for it. I used to always say to everybody that soca will ram Barclays before dancehall does.
Right.
I've always said it, right? Soca will ram dance Barclays before dancehall, and I wasn't saying it based on quality.
Right.
I was saying it based on loyalty.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because when it's soca time, it's soca time.
It's soca time. Yeah.
You understand?
No two ways about
There's
it.
no two ways about it. We don't have a dance all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dance all is all year round.
Yeah.
So we used to always have this argument. I said, listen, if you put Bunji, Marshall, and all of these people in, it is going to ram. Those soca people, they're going for their people.
Yeah.
Right? Us, we'll catch them next week.
Yeah, because they always have them.
They always have them, and there's no sentimental, cultural aspect attached to it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I always look at it.
Right.
But listen, when I saw that, I felt so proud. Are you guys doing arenas now too, just like dancehall? Like, is there many arenas? Or just one and one?
There's plans to do stuff like that. I think soca is in an amazing place, especially with the advent of social media, and the way that these promoters are now seeing the big picture, and they're now taking the risk, I would say, to do the venues and the ventures like that, as well as the artists. Because I'll tell you something, a lot of the times before, the artists shied away from doing stuff like this because they were like, oh my gosh, it's so big, people wouldn't know the songs, and they tend to want to do the smaller where you could get the hands in the air, and this requires a different level of skill set, because it's a fete, but it's a mammoth fete. It's a stadium size fete, so you can't get that little intimate sort of connection with the couple people in the front, because there's people all up in the bleeders. So you have to actually bring a different level of performance, because now your energy can't just reach 50, 60 feet. Your energy have to reach all the way back down, all up in the rafters. So it's different.
I think your performance is harder than ours. As far as dancehall versus soca performances, I think it's harder because we. Right, and I'm going to play some music because I know some of you want to hear some songs, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit and drop some new music. But let me just close out by saying this. We can get away with a singer just standing there and singing big songs. Right? We can get away with a DJ who has big songs or lyrical and just... I can't picture a soca artist getting away with just standing there and doing nothing.
They will FedEx a big stone to you.
Trinidadian people especially, and not only soca, any genre of music.
They're big on performance.
Yeah, big on performance. Your artists come and just stand up one place singing.
Oh, they hate that.
Yeah, making it through your performance.
No, they hate that.
They will get you off that stage soon.
When we come back, right, I want to ask you guys, ban versus tracks, because that's a big conversation in our world right now.
I realize.
Right? You realize.
I realize.
Band versus track. So I want to get Fayann, the outspoken, and Bunji, the outspoken, to talk to me about band versus track, guys. Listen, Bunji and Fayann is in the building. I got a brand new.
Yes.
Listen. I'm going to open the phone lines in a minute, and I'm going to ask you guys, I hope nobody knows about this track yet, because some of you are cheaters, right? I want to ask you guys, who do you think that Fayann has collaborated with? Who do you think would be a perfect fit for this big collaboration that I'm going to drop here? I want you guys to guess. It's dancehall, right? What dancehall artist do you think that she teamed up with to drop a big one? I'm going to drop a big one on you guys, right? What was so good about this song for me, and I think a lot of people, was you and Marshall together on one track. Did that turn over Trinidad?
Yeah. And it came after, because we did the collab before that, the year before, but it was the slow one. But people really wanted a up-tempo. And when this dropped, I remember this for a long while, we haven't seen like a song drop in soca. Sometimes we used to look at dancehall and see like a track drop this morning in Jamaica, and by night time everybody knew it big. So we used to like, and then boom, that happened with this song. We couldn't even believe it. The song dropped this morning, and by night time in the like club and party and thing, people was just dancing, going left, singing, and we was like,
It gone.
Yeah. And one day time, it was amazing.
It gone. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is. It was just one of those things where you could, and still now it's an anthem. It's an anthem. It plays in the dance hall. It plays in the soca fest. It's an anthem right now that you can't move. Right.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because I know when I was younger, you and Marshall was like left and right.
Yeah.
Right. That coming together with you guys is what really helped.
That's what helped it. Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't know, maybe even different. I think that you and Marshall, settling whatever differences you had, scored for the whole industry. Can that be true?
Well, the conversation have been hard, so I mean, I will leave it where the conversation lie and say yes, because that was the major conversation.
Because remember, despite whatever people wanted, the narrative that people may push, Bunji was always Bunji. You were always a force. You may have not been a commercial force, but you were a force. And there is always, something, there is value in that underground, hardcore street credibility part of the music that you can never move. It don't matter what genre it is in, right? And you have always been the leader of that kind of ragamuffin, tough type of the music, right? Marshall has been the commercial side of the music for many, many years. And, I came into the industry and started to visit Trinidad and say, okay, Bunji's left, Marshall is right, that's how it is. But then I'm believing when you guys met in the middle, it really changes the dynamics of the music.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, it was easy for me to exist in that realm because the reality is, all of us really come from that root.
Raga.
Soca is a grassroots, is a root music, Calypso and soca is a grassroots music, right? It's not like an upper echelon music. It's a grassroots music. Most of the people who exist in the arts and culture come from the grassroots. They come from the inner ghettos and the rural area. They come from the ground. That's why I say in Carriot, I come from when the ground used to carry it. All the major events used to be downtown events. All the major movements came from downtown people. That's where all the griots and the poets and the this and the creatives and the creators of the crafts is downtown people, right? So that's why when people complain about, carnival now, especially people who not from Trinidad and Tobago or from the carnival sector, complain about, too much feathers and beads and the nakedness. I understand where they're coming from. For us, it had nothing to do because we grew up in that. But really and truly, the carnival didn't start like that. Everything was about art. It was very artistic. The costumes used to be displaying something because we came out of something. That's why when they had like the drunken sailors, because we really used to have sailors from abroad in the war times that used to settle in Trinidad and things that were Sparrow sing about with Gina and Dinah. It was the sailors and then and you know that story, right? So all these things played into the costumes people would wear because they were reenacting things that happened in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. It's never about that skimpy look and thing. And they had different movements that go with it and thing. It evolved into that Las Vegas thing over time. As I said, for us in Trinidad, it don't really disturb we because we understand the journey of, and I think all things in every aspect in life evolves. Whether you like the evolution or not, that is your choice.
Right.
You understand? But for us to say, well, we don't have a problem with it because we know where it comes from and we know why it is evolving. And because of that evolution and where it is now, is why you have people leaving where they come from to want to be a part of it. Because really and truly, you don't have people wanting to leave where they have to come be part of that fully dressed up thing. People looking at carnival now as an escape. So they come to escape. They come to escape all this at a jacket and tie and all that. This is a chance to be in skin, I can show skin and still be safe. Because you don't see people out there, all the women who dress up in whatever and no man and haggling and pulling them. So we see some things out here with some different parades and thing out here on the news and thing, and we was like, yo, how this happening? Ladies and even in jeans and thing, and man pulling 10 man want to pull them.
Yeah, because they don't understand.
They don't understand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
In Trinidad, everybody kind of understands that. Yeah, it's a different thing. I mean, you have the issue now also like at the Eastern Parkway Parade because the American kids who know nothing about the culture is now coming down there, and to them it's just like, well, if she's dressed like that, it means that she wants, she want to talk to me or whatever the situation is. So So it becomes a little bit challenging.
I will say this is not an apology too. That happens too, because a lot of people tend to look on Caribbean people as lesser beings and lesser intelligence and lesser know-how. So they think that, well, we could tell you what we want and do you what we want and do with you what we want. And then realize that we just as intelligent, or there are times we might be more intelligent.
People tend not to really want to understand the culture behind the carnival.
No.
They just look at it as a way to just see people dressed in, naked and paraded. It's a fete for them. That's all it is. It's a fete.
No, but it's also telling to the character and the personality of these men and young men.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side to that, you don't have to come from a culture to know when something is wrong and when something is right. I don't have to come from a culture of something to walk into your house and see your jewelry or your money and know that it's not mine.
That's right.
Don't walk out the house with it.
Right.
Don't steal.
Right.
Don't take it. I don't have to come from a culture to know if I come in your house. I don't get to walk straight into your kitchen and go in your fridge and start digging up to get stuff to eat and drink, or to put my foot up on your chair with the shoes and the clothes.
Right.
Caribbean people, you can't go outside in a taxi and come home and go straight in the house and go sit on your mom or your family chair with your outside clothes or even your airport clothes. And that have to do with culture. But then at some point in time, you had to stop blaming ignorance of culture and start holding people accountable. You see a girl on the road, even if she's half naked, bruh, that's not your girl.
She
does not concern you.
Right.
You don't know her.
That's right.
How is being half naked an invitation to be violated?
That's right.
In what space of good sense and right thinking people should somebody's attire say, violation, open invitation? That makes no sense. Because you can't go to court and tell the judge, well, she was wearing her short pants and I just felt like it's an invitation. Go Manhattan now, and you see the jewelry store with all the big diamonds being displayed in the showcase?
Grab it.
Why isn't that an invitation for you to just walk in and start wearing?
Right.
Pick up stuff and go, because you get locked up.
Right.
So you know right from wrong. The thing is, you're just trying to use culture as an excuse for your bad behavior. I'm a part of carnival. You don't see me drunk and lewd all over the place. Time and place for stuff. They very well know what is right from what is wrong.
That is true.
And it's high time the West Indian community start holding people
accountable
that violate your
right.
culture and use it as an excuse for deplorable behavior, especially against women and children and other people. Accountable.
Listen, guys, Fayann Lion is in the building. Well spoken and outspoken. Well spoken and outspoken. Bunji Garland, likewise the same, man. Powerhouse when we speak about soca music. I got some new soca to drop on you. So many of you are hitting me up. I love the messages. Powerful conversation. Love the conversation. People who are not even listening to soca is listening to the conversation and they're understanding it.
That's
and that's
important.
That's growth. That's really what it's about. Who would you say are the powerhouses? I know that you're a powerhouse. Marshall is a powerhouse. Who else is a powerhouse in soca? Yeah.
Me, Faye.
Faye.
Patrice.
Marshall,
Patrice.
Definitely Destra.
Kes. And the younger bloods, I'll say Voice is a young
Definitely
powerhouse.
Voice. I mean, we're all powerhouses.
Yeah, really, truly.
We're all. So put it like this: we're all in the same neighborhood with just different size houses. That's it.
Because as opposed to Jamaica, or different from Jamaica, is that there's powerhouses up all the different islands too. Barbados, Grenada. So it's kind of difficult to single out.
In soca, because then you would have Alison Hines,
you still have Crossfire, you still have. You have Claudette Peters, Tian Winters.
Burning Flames in Antigua.
You have Asa Banton.
Asa Banton, Dominica.
Do you guys all come together at times, with the majority of you in one place doing shows?
When we meet, it's
crazy.
It's crazy.
Madness.
Who do you listen to in soca now? Who does Fayann listen to?
Oh, the thing is, I do aerobics, so I listen to more power soca people. So I listen like Lava Man, I listen Skinny, some Problem Child, Bunji, Marshall, some of Patrice music. It depends on what I'm doing. So if I'm running, there are people I listen to. If I'm doing squats or stuff like that, I listen to other people. I listen to Vintage Burning Flames, WCK. So
Mm.
You just love the culture,
I-
100%.
me,
You
I
just,
do.
Bunji, who do you listen to
Well,
in soca?
me for sure. Me for sure. And me for sure.
That is the most biased answer.
No, but
I love it and I'm endorsing that.
Faye and I thing. I don't tend to listen to too much of my peers, right? Because I was like, yeah, well, I know your style already, yeah, whatever. So I kind of listen to a lot more of the younger ones, like the Nessa Preppy, Preedy, Vaughn and them from Grenada, you know, and all these little guys and ladies and them doing the things. A lot of the younger ones, I kind of tend to, because I like variation in styles. So they have some unique approach as be listening to see, well, you know, where they're coming from.
The Kuten.
Kutain.
Is good.
You know,
He's good.
Jimmy October. Them
How
little
do
youth
you
and them.
guys feel? And again, I'm on the outside looking in, so excuse my ignorance.
Right.
How do you guys feel about the badness now that is coming into the music from your perspective? Because it wasn't there before.
Oh no, that's a different genre of music.
What would
So-
that be called?
Oh,
Is
you
that
mean
the Trinidad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a totally different genre to
Yeah.
soca.
How do you guys feel about that? Is it good? Like, is
The
it
music is good.
Yeah.
I think the added stuff with it is what people are having an issue with, because we know some of the artists and we've listened to some of their music. I mean, they're good. They're very very good. If the distracting stuff with the violence and all of that
Yeah.
could be eliminated
Yeah,
from it,
living it out,
they're
yeah.
onto something
Yeah,
major. I think that's that. And we had to be honest. Anything that restricts your music from
growing?
travel growth
Yeah.
is a hindrance.
Yeah.
And if you really want your music to grow,
Yeah.
then the powers that be in that realm
Yeah.
might want to look at what could possibly be things that they could, fix and stuff
We
like
spoke
that.
about what society in Trinidad, how you look at things, and one of the things is that based on my experience, the music coming from Trinidad was usually social commentary,
Yeah.
partying,
Yeah.
it's sexy, yes, but look at rum drinking, but it was never about gangster life.
Yeah.
We never got that coming from Trinidad, the gangster life. I don't know if
No,
I
we
missed
had
it.
one or two bad man
Yeah,
songs. I
always,
think, man.
always,
Yeah?
yeah.
In soca?
Yeah, it's
Well,
yeah. I mean him.
No, but
And we had from Kiskity Caravan days.
yeah, but that wasn't soca neither too. That was another Trinidad hybrid of music.
Yeah, well, okay.
Back in them days.
Right.
but they don't survive in the culture, does it?
10 to 1 is murder.
Well, no, but you're very right. Sparrow had some bad
Yeah.
man calypso, right? And thing. Listen, I think in all society have a little bit of gangsterism existing somewhere, right? For example, like with the steel pan, the movement behind the steel pan. A lot of people don't know that whole like that band meet band, right? There's a thing where in Trinidad where a band will be coming from this area and a band coming from this area. We head into one venue where all the bands going to play, but we might meet at this junction here. Back in them days, these two bands meeting here could mean dead people.
Problems.
Yeah, no, I mean literal dead people, because it's gangsters rolling with this band and gangsters rolling with this band. A lot of the art and culture had gangsterism around it.
So the
From long.
the panting is a
It's a
rude
boy thing,
too?
yeah. It's a rude boy
Is
movement, you know.
that song, Mastife,
Mastife, yeah.
Beat me them
Yeah.
way crazy,
Yeah.
cut out, cut
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That was, if you
Good
listen
man.
to the lyrics to
Yeah,
that,
some them man moving with it, digger and
With
the
the-
chuck and the
yeah,
ratchet, and that
it's
was some
bad
rude
man.
boy business long time.
Whoa, so the whole pan thing,
Yeah, yeah.
gangster thing.
Most of the pan
Coming
in
like
Trinidad-
Sound Clash then.
Right, and most of
in
the
a
pan-
real life.
Yeah, most of the steel pan in Trinidad, the most prominent ones, is from all the gangster areas in Trinidad right now.
Yeah, long time if you had a boyfriend that was in the pan,
Real talk.
you can bring him home. Your parents didn't
Yeah.
want no part of that guy.
Real talk.
They were the real monsters.
You know.
So it's hardcore The pan culture is a hardcore culture.
It's softened now.
Yeah.
It's softened now.
Yeah,
big
because
time.
you have a lot because people flying in.
Exactly, it's culture
tourists
now.
people
It's
coming
really
but it start from in the root of the
a
thing.
long time it wasn't that.
Which segues me into the great conversation.
Yeah.
Ban our tracks. Like,
It
that's
depends.
a hard conversation for us to be having in our culture right now.
Why?
Because we're arguing now. With the music moving forward.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a lot of the dancehall artists more gravitating towards tracks opposed to band.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the thing, right? And it is the truth. Sometimes it's not necessarily people gravitating. Sometimes it's the easier way. So the advantage with tracks is you could fall off the beat. Doesn't matter. The beat is there.
Yeah.
You can make a mistake. It doesn't matter. The beat is there.
Yeah.
So tracks gives you the opportunity as an artist to make as many mistakes as you want without anybody realizing it or without it disturbing the performance from an audio perspective.
Yeah.
So you're performing, you're out to key, you're coming off time, it doesn't matter. If you use the TV track and some of them put either the what we call ends, ad-libs, and
Yeah.
some people even use
The
one
stems, yeah.
like a low-lying
Back and
lead,
vocal, yeah.
right? So that if the song is a studio song where the notes that you made in the studio, it's not easily reproduced live, then you would want to use tracks, because then if you can't make the notes or you're doing multiple shows or you have a sore throat, it doesn't matter. It doesn't disturb your performance. It gives you time to breathe, because even when you're not singing, the backing track is there, so the performance still goes on audio-wise for the audience. It's a good cover. Live with a band does not give you the opportunity to make mistakes. You have to be in key. You have to be on time. You have to hit the notes. You have to know when the music changes to go from verse to chorus, or if you're versatile enough to go from chorus straight into the verse, or from verse to this, or whatever the case is. The likelihood of you making a mistake with a band is 1,000,000%. The likelihood of you being discovered as not being an artist vocally talented with a band is 1,000,000%.
Wow.
There's no isolation, there's no insulation, there's no coverage with a live band.
Yeah, get
It's either you're
exposed.
good, you did it in the
Yeah.
studio,
Yeah.
or you had somebody sing that in the studio and you come. So the exposure with a band
Yeah.
is way
Yeah, yeah.
more
So you
evident.
feel like some artists stay away from the band because of that?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because one, with a band, you're not facing the band. The band is at your back. It means you have to understand keys,
Yeah.
tones, transposition of notes, and all of this stuff. You need to understand the metronome, the pace, the BPM of the music that you're in. You need to listen for when the keys change, for when the melody switches, and you have to focus on the crowd, as well as you have to hear your backups. So when they're singing, you know when you sing and when they sing, and you have to keep the timing, and you have to control the crowd at the same time. It's a lot going on, and if you're somebody who has a problem focusing, then I would not recommend a band for you, because when you're hearing keyboards and you're hearing bass and you're hearing drums and you're hearing the guitar, and if you have brass, you're hearing live brass, and you also have to listen for the machines, and you have background vocals, and then you're listening to the crowd, and then you have to hear yourself in the monitors. If you're not somebody who could process all of that to make sense,
Mash up.
it's going to distract
But
you.
isn't it like cheating though? You don't look at it as cheating, like for a new soca artist to come and not have that ability that you just described.
It's not cheating. It's a
I mean, I don't know how I would feel as an artist knowing that I know all of this,
Yeah.
and then that person is so far ahead of
Yeah.
me, but they don't
no,
know
but there's
any of
people.
it.
There's people with sensory problems and focus problems that they're very wonderful musicians. They're amazing performers on stage, but they can't reproduce certain notes and keys live because of probably a hearing impairment or something. So the tracks is better for them than live, as well as there are people who they can't zone in on performing for a crowd and maintain a presence with what's happening with a live band.
How is your audience? Is your audience okay with the track performances now? Do they care
No, I
anymore?
think for soca they like band.
They like
But
band.
it depends on the event too.
Yeah. Well, remember, it depends on the event. If,
Yeah, it
if it's a
depends on the
small
event.
event, tracks will work.
Yeah.
But remember the majority of the music that used to be played for carnival, it was bands used to carry
Yes,
the music.
bands.
Before it had the frontline artists, it was just bands. Right? The band was the feature.
Right.
The no frontline artists singing.
We
so
were the
band-
accompaniment.
We were the accompaniment. Now is a point where you have
You are the main feature.
You are
Oh,
the
yeah,
main
you're the
feature,
main act.
right? And thing.
That's
But-
a big transition too in the music.
Yeah. But as Faye rightfully said, I think it comes down to the venue.
What do you rather?
I prefer live band.
You
Although there are some productions that sound better as track
Yeah.
than because
Agreed.
band just can't replicate that sound because it might have some sub in it that you can't get from
Yeah,
a live bass
that's true.
and them kind of thing. And there are frequencies in productions that impact people in a way that if you don't get it reproduced,
You miss the mark.
You miss the mark and the responses be different, right? So sometimes it'll be sometimes a little whistle,
yeah.
a hi-hat play different. That alone could throw the whole
It's
crowd off.
weird.
How much people in your bands though? Because it seems like there's a lot
Full
of people.
band, we have 15.
Yeah, full band. Yeah,
That's just the band without you.
Yeah, without us. That's engineers and backups
Yeah.
and tech people and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because we have horns and all that.
And yeah, 'cause we do live. We're one of the few bands that maintain live brass.
Live brass.
yeah,
Great energy.
Yeah.
Listen, guys,
Yes.
Fayann Bunji's in the building. I'm gonna drop a new track for you guys. I hope that you got an understanding of just the whole soca journey and the energy behind the whole. Listen, I love it. But I'm gonna open the phone lines right now, 718-554-8598. Can you guys give me, play this game? Like, who do you think, Fayann has teamed up with to create a bomb? Dancehall artists, right?
Oh my
Not
God.
soca, right?
This would be
Who do you
hilarious.
think that she has teamed up with? Don't let me down, guys. I know you're listening. Don't get nervous. No. Well, I was about to say no answer is the wrong answer, but yeah, there is a wrong
There's
answer.
a wrong answer. It's true.
Who do you guys think that Fayann teamed up with to really drop another bomb, right? And this wouldn't be your first dancehall collabo, right? Would it be?
No. I've done stuff
You've
with
done-
Busy. I've done stuff with Vegas. Done stuff. We did the cricket thing with
Maca Diamond,
Shaggy.
you did with
Maca
Shaggy.
Diamond. Shout out Maca Diamond. I've done stuff with Maca Diamond.
You want a Tifa?
I did Tifa. Big up my sister Tifa. I've done stuff with Sham. Sham did a collab.
Yeah.
A collab
And,
stuff
and what
with my
about you,
thing.
Bunji? You've done a lot of collabs too?
Yeah. Killer Beanie.
Oh, yeah, stuff
Busy.
with Beanie too.
Yeah, you did Beanie too. Busy. Go on my list.
I see you guys ready to guess. You guys ready to guess? All right. Caller, who do you think? Who do you think is on the track?
I just came out of class and I didn't hear the track that well. I just call in to big up the artists and that's inside and welcome them to Soundtrack.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Thank
well,
you.
Well, let me get you involved, right? Fayann.
But maybe Cynthia.
Oh, that's a good guess.
That's a good guess.
That's a good guess. I could see that. That's a good guess. That's a good guess.
Okay.
That's a good guess.
All right.
Right,
That's
guys?
one, that's one.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
one.
guess.
That's
That's a
one.
good guess. I want you guys to guess. Who do you think is on this track? Call you live.
I'm going to say popcorn, but I have a question.
Popcorn is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good
Puppy's
one.
family. Puppy's
But
family.
I do have a question, though. I have a comment and a question. Let me tell you guys something. This is the most educational. I mean, Chin does some interviews that you just go away saying, wow.
Right.
But I've learned so much from listening to you guys. Have you guys ever thought about taking it on the road where you go to colleges and talk about the journey of soca and, educate some of these people that really don't understand the music or don't understand the tradition of the music?
That's a good one.
Strange enough, we've just started a discussion with people from the new government to actually do something like that because there are people that have taken a vested interest in the educational part of culture. And
Right.
for instance, my daughter's school is one of them. For the first time, a school actually did a project where you had to go to somebody's job and she chose us to teach a group of how to write a soca song and take them to the studio. And we got the song played on the radio, and these kids and their parents were so stoked. And they understood royalties and publishing, and we had to give them the whole. And the parents themselves admitted, we did not know it was so much paperwork and contracts and royalties and syncs and all these things. So what you're saying is an excellent idea, and it shows that there are people like you that think soca can be educational as well, and I thank you very much for putting that out there.
Of course, you guys, growing up and listening to soca, you go to a party. I'm a Jamaican. Shin don't think I'm Jamaican, but that's another conversation. Yeah. But growing up, when you go to a party, man, I'm telling you something. When the soca music comes on, when calypso comes on, that's when the party begun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your contribution.
Guys, I want you guys to tell me where are you calling from? And also, I want you guys to, take a guess. Come on. Unafraid? Because I'm not going to tell you. Right? Fayann is not going to tell you. Bunji's not going to tell you.
Mom's the word.
Right? Yeah. I'm seeing some people are probably at work, though, so some people are hitting me up on WhatsApp. I got popcorn.
Right.
Poppy.
I got Bounty Killer.
Hey!
Call you live. Who do you think this new combination is with? It's a dancehall artist.
Before I get to that, I want to say that I was on a flight from St. Kitts to Miami with Bunji and Fayann,
right,
2023, and I asked him, before I depart the plane, I said to him, you going up to Miami to come down to Trinidad? And the question I want to ask you, I know regional travel, they have some difficulty with Liat out of the way.
Right.
You find yourself sometimes have to go, when you're traveling from one island to the other, that you have to go up to Miami to come back down to the other?
Okay.
Facts.
Okay, the combination might have been, maybe Vibes Cartel might see it, but I know they did one with Movado some time ago. Fayann did.
I guess Vibes Cartel is a good one. I wasn't expecting you to say that. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Call you live. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from work in Manhattan.
Tifa card.
Tifa card.
Let me see if you can get it. Who you think it is?
I don't know if it's this person, but I like spice, so I want them to do something with her.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
All right.
That's a good one.
Good guess, good guess.
That's a good one. Call you live. Where you calling from?
Yes, calling live from Baltimore.
Big up to Baltimore. Who do you think it is?
I think it's Spice.
Right.
Maybe Spice might be the one.
Two Spices.
Right,
Spice is a good one.
All right.
Right. Listen.
I got a question. What you guys think about the artists coming out of St. Lucia, like Moto, Freezy, and, all the other young artists that's coming out there?
Them representing real strong.
Yeah, the Denari segment has been doing really well.
Real strong.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my Lucian family, them. You know what I'm saying? So big up, man. Enough love and respect.
Big up St. Lucia in the house.
718-554-8598, guys. When you call me, tell me where you're calling from. Bunji and Fayann is in the building, right? We was just talking about the good old days when we used to go to colleges, when there used to be college fetes. Them thing that God know, right? But I remember back in the days when, dancehall artists and soca artists used to go and perform at all of the colleges. And it was a really big thing. Coming like the college, them don't remember we no more. It's a total different thing now.
I think I'll have to revamp that.
You should.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Somebody like you?
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
I think that you should do that because
I'm gonna work on that.
Caribbean kids didn't stop going to college.
100%.
Right? This Caribbean kids are still in college.
Yeah.
Call you live. Where you calling from?
Yes, calling from Richmond Hill.
Big up to everybody in Richmond Hill. Take a guess. Who you think it is?
I want to say Dexter Daps.
Blows and skirts.
Okay.
Blows and skirts.
And we have a winner.
A Dexter Daps, you go. Call you live. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chin.
Obia man.
Yeah, man.
That's his name.
I give everybody names here.
And he's Obia. Okay.
So, Obia man. Me know say you don't know nothing about them thing here, but take a guess.
No man, when Bunji came out, man, I thought he got his name from the swing. So when I swing hard, you know.
Yeah, man.
I tell you, man.
Yeah.
Ah, boy.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah, man. Me know you don't call that chat some foolishness. Calling you live. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's Nanny B calling from
Nanny
Long
B,
Island
calling
City.
from Long Island. You taking another
Long Island
guess?
City. And I just want everybody to know, when I'm in Florida, I listen to Soundchat. When I'm in New York, I listen to Soundchat. I want to ask the panel a question.
Go ahead.
The question is, did you went to London Carnival?
Oh no.
Not this year.
Not
no.
this year.
No,
Not
no.
this year.
But that's the last time I saw you in London.
Yeah, not this year.
Yes.
Things have changed up a bit from what we understand. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a bit tasking.
Once again, thanks for coming to Soundchat for us to hear you.
There's no
100%.
there's
100%.
no carnival without Bunji and Fayann, so they will be back.
Yeah.
They will definitely be back in London. Calling you live.
Oh,
Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Tampa.
Calling from where?
I'm from Florida.
I can't hear a word you're saying. Where you calling from?
I'm from Florida.
Florida.
Florida. Big up.
Okay,
Big
Florida.
up. Now, listen. You going to take a guess?
I am. Is it sincere?
Is it who?
Sincere?
Shensia, she said
Shensia.
Shensia.
Shensia is a good guess as well, right? Shensia is definitely a good guess. We got a winner though,
Yeah.
right? Fayann is
think
going
we
to tell
should
you
tell them.
exactly who the winner is.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Boys and girls.
boys and girls, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Antiguans, St. Lucia, Dominicans, Bajans, VI people, everybody around the world, to the caller that said the dancehall artist that's featured in the collaboration with Miss Fayann Lyons is Dexter Daps. You're the winner. It is Dexter Daps. Large up Dexter Daps wherever you're standing.
Now, what made you go for Dexter?
We love Dexter.
You know, and
We're Dexter fans over here.
Bunji sent me the song. I didn't listen to it purposely,
Right.
Because I like to have that impact live on ear.
Right.
I like that. So guys, I'm in awe, just like Coco, you guys are in awe. I don't know, but I'm thinking if Dexter's involved, right?
You already know.
Yes.
You already know.
You know what I mean? So I'm being honest. I
Yeah.
said, yes, I'm going to premiere this tomorrow. I'm not letting nobody hear it. I'm not going to listen to it. But from Dexter is involved, right? And
Dexter.
Fayann and Soca, I'm kind of figuring out what kind of situation is going on. Am I wrong?
Well, it's not a soca.
It's not a soca.
It's not a Soca.
It's more. It's more world dancehall. It's a what we call a
R&B.
pale out.
R&B
Yeah, it's a.
dancehall R&B.
Yeah, it's.
You
it's,
like that? Do you like that whole?
Oh, I do. I do
Yeah.
everything.
You like to step out?
I do everything. I write a whole bunch of stuff. I release the soca, but I have tons of music that's not of the soca genre, and I just keep writing. And I've just decided now to start releasing them, you know. And this is one of many that's coming out.
Wow. Do you write for other people too, or no?
I've written for other people.
Nice.
Yeah, I've written for other people.
Bunji, do you write for other people too?
No.
No. Your lyrics are your lyrics, eh? So you wrote for other people. What is that like? Because I know that I've heard when I was in Barbados, I heard that they do keep sessions where people write songs and artists come in and sing it and stuff like that.
No, I've not done that. I've like I'd have a couple of people like that would hit me up and say, okay, they need a song, and then I'd write and just send to them, and if they use it, they use it. If they don't, I sing it.
And you
Music no waste, you know. Music no waste. Music is like land.
But I know that you're super duper talented, so I'm just thinking like you stepping out into. Do you want to be? Because nowadays everybody's saying they don't want to be boxed into any genre. Are you like that too as well?
No, the thing is, for me, you can only be boxed in if you don't have other boxes. I have many boxes, so you could put me in one box and I could go in another box, a different box, because I write my own stuff and I do my own music, and for me, I don't wait for somebody to craft where I can sit or what style I can do this year or whatever the case is. I dabble in any genre. I mean, soca is my dominant genre, but I have the capability to dabble in anything.
Anything.
Yeah,
So
I've done
t-
stuff by Fernando Caribe, who work with Lady Gaga and all these people. So I do stuff.
Tell me about the Dexter. What's the vibe of the Dexter song?
It's
Yourself and
sexy.
Dexter. Sexy. Well,
It's very sexy.
I could have understood. I could have guessed that one.
It's sexy, and it's a vocally stimulating song, meaning you have to actually be able to sing, with Dexter, because Dexter could sing. Dexter could sing. So I know a lot of people know soca and power soca, put your hand in the air, da, da, da. But that's one side of Fayann. So it's not like that's all I can do. It's just that's what I've been doing for many years, because I love soca. I love representing my country. I love representing my culture, but I also love other genres. And when the opportunity presents itself to do other things, I'll do it because I can.
Soca artists have come so far, right? And a lot of these artists are so talented that it's not only soca for them. And Fayann is showing you guys that there is a different side to her, a vocal side to her, a sexier side to her, just keep giving us good music, right? Because that's what it's all about, good music.
That's exactly what it's all about. And to keep pushing your boundaries and pushing your limits, and while you're able to do just do your music. Do music, put it out there. You never know where your music can go on, and you never know who's listening. And just enjoy the moment, have fun, and manage your time. Manage your time here, manage your time with people, manage your time with yourself, manage your time with the age that you are, manage your time with your family, your children, with your happiness, which is good. Manage your time with your mental health awareness, manage your time with your health and fitness. Just manage your time.
Just manage your time.
Manage your time.
Someone is asking me to ask the two of you to explain the difference between calypso and soca,
right?
Which is something that we always get mixed up in.
Yeah. So calypso was basically the origin sound, right? It's like what reggae is to dancehall, right? So it's that first sound in Trinidad.
Poor man's newspaper.
Poor man's newspaper. The Calypsonian was
poor man's newspaper.
Yeah,
that's
the
what
Calypsonian was known as the poor man's newspaper.
So it would tell you what's happening.
That's correct. Well, the current affairs, politics, bacchanal, drama, crime, violence. It addressed social issues. It addressed ills. It used the music to voice the cries of the people from the ghettos, from the garrisons, from the downtrodden to the poverty. It unearthed scandals. It gave clarity and reasoning to situation, whether it be women's issues, with Singing Sandra, Die With My Dignity, which spoke of women who were being victimized in the workplace and had to sleep with their bosses for advancement. It's just Calypso brought to the forefront information while entertaining. Soca was more on the entertaining side, with education as a secondary. The primary for soca was more of a enjoyment. So soca was the feel good. Forget your problems. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow we go deal with that. It good. So don't stress yourself. Enjoy yourself. Live in the moment. See things for what it is and not for what you want it to be. Spend your rent money and regret it later. No, I kid.
But is it a sound? Is there a difference in the sound as well?
Yeah. Because Calypso had more stress on melody and intricate melodies
and
structure. That too, and structure. It had very, very detailed structures that go with it, while soca took a more easy route, for want of a better word. And even the early soca still had social commentary and thing in it.
Yeah.
It's very more relaxed now than it was then, right? But soca still held a lot close to calypso in terms of what it would say, but just sometimes on a lighter note and a more danceable way.
Right. Is there anybody doing new calypso, or is that just...
No, I think I wouldn't say new calypso. What I would say is the technology to produce the calypso has advanced. So it affects the sound, of course. So for instance, before, drums were like congas and manually played. Now you can program stuff. There's plugins for this. There's downloads for that. So the sound has changed, not because the calypso itself has changed. The sound has changed because the equipment used to produce
this changed.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The phone lines are blazing, guys. We're going to be up out of here in a few, but I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. Hey, people are so excited. Like, one guy just said that he can't believe that both of you are in the studio. This is the best show ever. All right, so it looks like I've never done a good show prior to this. All right.